Amidst yet another anti-carbon tax rally in front of Parliament today, a counter-rally was taking place at the Perth Convention Centre in support of the tax.
If we don't do that...
So you organised this event today. Do you think it turned out as well as planned?
I'm one of the co-organisers, so representing the Australian Youth Climate Coalition. It was a fantastic result. The number of people who came at such short notice. We only started organising this just last Friday, and in response to some climate change sceptic groups which are trying to organise their own rally, and compared to what they had up at Parliament House, a disorganised rabble, this was such an amazing vibe with so much enthusiasm and just showing the overwhelming support for action on climate change. Often we hear too much of the people who are disgruntled, and they seem to be amplified as being often seen as the majority, when in fact the majority of the population are actually really happy, but they're just not so vocal about it.
So do you think it will benefit the community or the major corporations?
As I understand it, the price on pollution is going to be put onto a selection of the biggest polluters, so that they would probably pass a lot of those costs on to consumers. But that's actually the point, it's to change behaviour. As certain products associated with greater greenhouse gas emissions become more expensive because of the price has been passed on, the cost has been passed on to those consumers, consumers will do what they do best. They'll choose the cheapest product. So they will change their behaviour to buy products which are associated with less greenhouse gas emissions. This will help to really sort of shift us towards a low carbon economy. There will be greater investment in clean technologies and less investment in coal power stations and the more polluting industries.
Do you support the Prime Minister since she's reduced the carbon tax?
We are very happy to hear that Julia Gillard is introducing this price on pollution. We ourselves are a non-partisan group, so we don't support a particular political party, but we'll support whatever political party that is taking action on climate change. In this case, Julia Gillard's taking those steps, but we will keep pushing to see an effective price on pollution implemented.
I think we need to send a very clear signal that we need to be pricing carbon, and pollution should no longer be free, should never have been free, and we need to be pricing it. I think the public is very confused about it. Every time I talk to someone about it, they don't really understand the difference between a tax and an emission trading scheme, and I think people are wanting to do something about pollution, but there hasn't been enough explanation and information about it. It doesn't matter what the price is going to be on carbon, we need to send a signal out that there is going to be a price, and we need to start.
I think that Australia has always been behind the times on the issue of carbon pollution, and it's about time we caught up with most of the rest of the world and actually put a price on it. It just makes complete sense, and it looks like the government will do it, and we've got to just keep encouraging them to actually go ahead and complete the mission. Through having a price, you actually make the other alternatives cheaper, because you actually start to get investment in those technologies.
So do you think you were misled at all, from the Prime Minister changing the decision?
Yes, but has there been a Prime Minister who hasn't changed on one issue or another?
I think what we've seen so far, the Gillard government has announced this so-called carbon tax, which is really an emissions trading scheme, and you've got the climate sceptics and deniers are rallying against that, and basically they're against all climate action, and that's one side of this debate. And a lot of environmentalists have actually said, well, let's rally behind the government as an alternative, and I can understand why that's happened, but I think there's also a third current in this debate as well, which is basically people that are in favour of genuine and real climate action, but are sceptical that a carbon tax, or what this is, more strictly speaking, an emissions trading scheme, can be an effective way of achieving climate action. So I'm here today to support climate action, which means things like investment in renewable energy infrastructure, more public transport, even things like a feed-in tariff could play a really positive role. But personally, I'm sceptical that a carbon tax or an emissions trading scheme is going to be helpful.